Penguins Hockey on Root Sports is brought to you by Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. You're better with Highmark Blue Cross Blue Shield. Rated #1 for plan satisfaction. By Western PA Toyota Dealers. Now's the time to go places with Toyota. Visit buyatoyota.com for special offers. And by McDonald's. I'm loving it.
Penguins preseason hockey from Detroit is brought to you by Ram Trucks. Nice Gordie Howe statue. Take a look at tonight's starting goaltender for the Penguins, Bob.
Marc-Andre Fleury. Coach Mike Johnson wanted to get him in 3 games. He's 1-1 with a 1.80 and .923 save percentage in the preseason. That's what he did last year, winning 39 games. Marc-Andre Fleury.
Greg Kimmerly, Dan O'Halloran, the referees. Steve Barton and Derek Amell are the linesmen. Top line against top line. Zetterberg against Crosby to start the game. Letang paired up with Christian Ehrhoff on defense. Crosby, Hornquist, and Kunitz up front. Hornquist trying to get to the puck. And Kronwall took it away from him, and now the Red Wings on the attack, and it's Gustav Nyquist coming to center. Kunitz to the puck. It's up for grabs and shot down low. Quick one there by Nyquist, stopped by Fleury with the right pad. Gustav Nyquist had a heck of a finish to last year. We're going to look at our opposing goaltender tonight, Bob.
Yeah, well, he didn't have a good year last year. You talk about Nyquist finish. This guy was subpar the whole season long. 21, 19, and 11. Now those are losses as well, if you will, with that 910 save percentage. And there is 3 pretty good goaltenders here in Detroit.
Riley Sheahan on the ice, lost the face-off. The Penguins able to get into the attacking zone. Downey in front. Oh, just poked wide by Dupuis with that speed coming to the net. He just missed on the glove side of the goaltender. A good setup there by Steve Downey. It's Sutter, Dupuis, and Downey for the Penguins.
Good hit there by Harrington on Tatar over at the wall as the puck goes over the glass. There's the new bench boss, excuse me, Mike Johnson in his first season in the National Hockey League. Look at the pass. Pascal Dupuis, his 2nd game back after that reconstruction. The ACL surgery, injured December 23rd. And yes, the coach happy to have Dupuis on the ice and Sidney Crosby tonight.
Johnson talking a lot about left shots, right shots. I think he does really believe that it's better to have a player on his on wing if he can do that. And the idea of having a right-hand shooter on with Sidney Crosby tonight and Hornquist, and then Dupuis playing at his natural position, if you will, as a left shot on the left wing. And we get a whistle here.
Yes, we have a penalty. And Blake Como is going to the box in his 5th game in this exhibition year for the Pittsburgh Penguins, coming over from the Columbus Blue Jackets.
Hooking the defenseman Nick Jensen. So Como has a seat, and the Red Wings put their power play to work. Probably the special teams in the preseason are the thing you really can't get a handle on, because it's different guys in the lineup, and penalty killing is going to be important, though. The Penguins had a really good penalty killing unit last year, finished 5th. And of course, you figure their power play is going to be powerful.
Got Ehrhoff and Abdelkader. Ehrhoff went really hard into the wall. Abdelkader, he's a hard-nosed player, and he just thrust Ehrhoff right into the wall.
This is Nyquist for Abdelkader on the left side. He drops it off to Kronwall. Across the ice to Zetterberg. The Mule's on the ice, number 93. He's in the slot. Abdelkader right there on the goal line. In front for the Mule, and a save made by Fleury. He looks for the puck, and he's able to find it. No, it squirts out of there. And Zetterberg's got it again. Looked at the net. Ehrhoff challenges him a bit. Ehrhoff and Letang on defense. Sutter and Dupuis up top. Kronwall shot blocked by Sutter. Nyquist settles it down. Gustav Nyquist. Dangerous hockey player. Drops it off. Kronwall shot, and that one drifted wide of the net. Zetterberg to the puck for the Mule. Johan Franzen. Back to Kronwall. No stick for Sutter right now. Dupuis, excellent work there to get over and strip the puck away from Zetterberg and get it all the way down the ice. Talking about penalty killing. Great to see him back in that capacity, Bob.
Well, yeah, that was great getting it down. Sutter without the stick. You had to have it happen. But that Detroit Red Wing power play looked real dangerous. And Franzen had a couple of good cracks. Fleury denied him.
Jensen to the high slot. The shot is gunned wide of the goal by Tatar. Thomas Tatar is another very skilled player. The Red Wings have a lot of really quality two-way players as usual. Tatar had it for a moment in the slot. He tried to pass it, and it came right to Marcel Gottsch, and he's able to dump it down the ice with 12 seconds left on the penalty to Blake Comeau. The Red Wings regroup here with a man advantage.
Sid and Kunitz for the last 12 seconds, as you mentioned.
Stephen Weiss dropped it off, and Crosby on the ice for the last bit of the penalty kill. Shoots the puck back into the Detroit zone.
The next time Crosby gets the puck there at that blue line, he might not shoot it down into the Red Wing zone. Instead, take off the other way against a tired power play unit, and that's why they want to put Crosby on late in that penalty kill when the power play unit has been out there for a while.
De Kaiser moves it down the wall for Landon Ferraro to the slot. Abdelkader's shot, and that came through with a man right on the doorstep. Zetterberg, Fleury able to make the save. And now Abdelkader stripped of the puck by Chris Kunitz. Throws it to open space. Ehrhoff with a quick outlet. Hornquist able to get around Kronwall to the backhand. Patrick Hornquist trying to stay with it. Kronwall right on him. A couple of Swedes battling over here to the near wall. We get another penalty.
Yeah, and this is going to be Hornquist, Daggy. He took his hand off a stick, and with the free hand, he put it on Kronwall. It went down rather easy. They have a couple of words. Swedish contingent, and
Pittsburgh penalty number 72. 2 minutes holding.
A holding call to Hornquist. Take a look. Body position by Kronwall, the free hand by Hornquist. He goes down. Take a look at this hit. Abdelkader. And boy, Ehrhoff went in real hard. He's lucky that he is getting up. I'm telling you, he had lost his footing, went shoulder into the wall. That could have been dangerous. And he got up and he came back on the next shift.
Well, another special team situation. The Red Wings, Sheahan won that faceoff. Stephen Weiss with it on the near side. Yurko lifts it to the high slot. Tatar pushed off the puck by Dupuis, but Red Wings maintain possession. Right at the side of it is Sheahan, and it's poked wide of the net. Now up top it comes to Jensen. Stephen Weiss cranks it up, and that hit a man in front, Sheahan, as he was camped in front of Marc-Andre Fleury. Red Wings have long used the advantage of having a guy in front of the net. I mean, Thomas Holmstrom was the greatest of all time. They don't have him doing that anymore. But certainly you can see that it's still a key part of what they want to do on the power play. They have a guy standing right in front of Fleury every time.
And I can't, when you say it, I have to say my man Dino Ciccarelli. I got to bring up his name because that's who Holmstrom learned from. And I think Dino had over 600.
Here's a chance for Tatar. He fakes and he tried to tuck it in, couldn't do so. Fleury diving back. Red Wings still have it. Jensen with a drive and a save made by Fleury, and he's able to freeze it this time.
Now that is slick stuff, Staggy. And Tatar, you know, he's a slick Slovakian. He was great in the World Juniors years ago. He was the MVP in the American Hockey League when they won the Calder Cup. And that move there, he just couldn't turn it to the back. Well, he did turn it to the back and just couldn't finish off the play as the Flower was out sprawling, trying to cut the angle down. Some nifty handwork there by the Slovakian. Great name, too, isn't it?
They call him Tots. Thomas Tatar. Paul Martin off the draw with the puck for the Penguins, and he backhands it down the ice. We have 56 seconds remaining on that Hornquist penalty for holding. Gustav Nyquist takes off now. Drops it off. Kronwall moves it right back to the right side, and Abdelkader left it for Nyquist, but he was poke-checked away by Scuderi to center. Comeau tried to get a stick on it. Comeau and Spalling up front on the penalty kill right now. Now Comeau goes to the bench. He's replaced by Pascal Dupuis. Kronwall trying to gain the zone, and he does. He leaves it right side for Franzen, who dumps it in behind the goal. 27 seconds on the kill for the Penguins. Abdelkader near side. It comes to Martin, shoveling that puck, but not getting enough on it to get it out. Nyquist challenged by Dupuis, leaves him behind, and then the return pass for Nyquist comes all the way through. Kronwall, slap pass in front, shot by Zetterberg. He got his own rebound off a block and just chipped it over the goal. And Paul Martin with it now behind the net for Scuderi. He hits Zetterberg with it. He centered. Nyquist couldn't turn it to the backhand. Spalling able to get it out, and Hornquist is on the ice. Kronwall going back for the puck, but now Hornquist was thinking of going after him, but he goes to the bench.
Oh man, Penguins dodging bullets there, and a lot of puck possession for the Red Wings in the offensive zone on that power play.
Fleury's been looking sharp. Fleury played the puck to the corner in that trapezoid. Oscar Sundqvist is on the ice for the Penguins with Danny Carcillo and Steve Downing. Ehrhoff loved the puck over there right into the Detroit Red Wings bench.
And a couple of power plays early in this first period for the Detroit Red Wings. Nothing on the board yet. Letang almost put A puck in his own net. Adams, he saves the day.
No score here in the first at the Joe. How about our UPMC Sports Medicine injury update, giving us some news on defenseman Olli Maatta, who continues to work on the ice after having shoulder surgery almost 4 months ago. This is from this morning. That's impressive considering that he was expected to be out of action for almost 6 months. He's been cleared for contact, and he's had no restrictions as far as his play on the ice, but also could not offer up a timeline for his return. But nonetheless, guys, looking good so far.
Penguins are deep on D. There's no doubt about that. And good to see Olli Maatta getting closer to playing. Gustav Nyquist shooting right into the belly pad of Marc-Andre Fleury, and he's able to freeze it again. So Nyquist making his presence felt here early in the hockey game.
It's all Detroit. The shots are 8-0. They've had 2 power plays. Well, let's not say all Detroit. How about Marc-Andre Fleury? He's been sharp here. Won a Stanley Cup here, right at that net where he's sitting in that crease, clearing away the snow. Good ice here. Players always say good ice here in Detroit. The building warm.
Although the reviews on the ice the last couple of days, the Penguins practice here yesterday weren't as good as usual. Now Hornquist after it against Kyle Quincy. Runs him into the end boards. Crosby able to poke it to the corner for Kunitz. Back for Sid behind the net. De Kaiser on Sid. Protects the puck beautifully. Banked it off the cage. Tried to get it back and couldn't do so. De Kaiser stayed with him. Crosby over, whacks at his stick, and the puck comes back to center ice. And the bank pass ahead to Kunitz, who steers it up into the Detroit zone. And Hornquist gets in after it against Henrik Zetterberg. Zetterberg won that battle. Jakob Kindl with the lead pass. Almost sprung Yurko behind the defense. Shot wide of the net by Ehrhoff. Hornquist with a shot save made by Howard. Rebound. Standing on it was Dupuis. Ehrhoff getting back into defensive position as Yurko dumps it into the Penguin zone. Ehrhoff back for it. Just poked it to open space up the near wall. Letang over tried to get it out, as does Downey on the near boards, and Downey able to jam it back out to the neutral zone. Lashoff with it there. Now Dupre handles it for the Penguins. Over to Letang. Simon Dupre looks to the left wing. Dupuis couldn't handle it cleanly. Jensen dumps it in behind the net where Cronwall takes it for Detroit.
Boy, Dupre can really skate. He's in on that forecheck. First man in on the puck.
Nick Jensen, right-hand shooting defenseman, dumps the puck in. The Red Wings wanted to get a right-hand shooter on the free agent market this summer. They were looking real good hard at Matt Niskanen, but they couldn't sign him.
No, they couldn't. They get Nick Jensen back, who missed 6 months with that separated shoulder. So we just go look at Olli Maatta, who's only 4 months into things. Jensen missed 6 months after a preseason fight, a training camp fight with his own teammate, Steggy. And that was not good with Tyler Bertuzzi last year. So they've outlawed fighting in the training camp here for the Detroit Red Wings.
Interesting, and they outlawed it. And the Red Wings have finished either 29th or 30th in fighting majors since 1999. That's a long time to be
not a lot of fight in that Red Wing
embracing a philosophy of not getting into fights. Meanwhile, the Calgary Flames in their training camp are practicing fighting. They were doing that last week.
Brian Burke, a little touch of Berkey there, and he did the same thing in Toronto.
They got Derek Engel in there, who doesn't need a lot of practice. Now the Penguins trying to get some offense generated here, but they're offside as they enter the attacking zone. Como one step ahead with Spalling carrying the puck.
Well, I talked about Marc-Andre Fleury, and the shots were 8-0. And in that net, he made a couple of big saves, including that final one on the captain, Nicholas Lidstrom, to preserve that Stanley Cup in 2009. Back-to-back finals against the Detroit Red Wings.
You were working for the NHL Network at the time, weren't you?
I was.
And I was standing down here in the aisleway at the end of this press box, and I just happened to look over as the Penguins won and saw everybody celebrating. Penguins management celebrating. Kevin Stevens was there. He was happy. A great moment, obviously. What a night.
Another win, another Stanley Cup on the road.
Since that year, the Red Wings are 21-26 in the playoffs. The Penguins are 27-27. Two mighty teams that went to the Stanley Cup Finals 2 years in a row.
Both teams have suffered a lot of injuries.
Oh, that's an understatement. Penguins have been really snake bit in that department. I think they probably could have won at least one more cup if not for that, especially in 2011 when they had Crosby and Malkin both out of the lineup against Tampa Bay.
And the Red Wings are waiting to see if Daniel Alfredsson's going to rejoin them, who's injured with a back.
Penguins trying to make something happen here. Chris Kunitz near wall. Crosby drops it back. Ehrhoff able to keep it in, dumps it deep. Hornquist poked it free for Crosby on his backhand. Sid turns to the forehand, shot it off the side of the cage, gets it right back. Crosby fell to his knees for a moment. Zetterberg all over Sid. And Zetterberg showing early in this game, that strength that he has defensively, able to guard players and really do a good job of almost shadowing them when he wants to.
Yep. Solid defensive player. Good to see him healthy and back. Good to see that man back in the Penguin uniform. Well, there's the captain, Sidney Crosby, back in uniform. His only exhibition game this season, and last year he was a first-team All-Star. He racked up 104 points, and he won the Hart Trophy as the league MVP. The Art Ross is the leading scorer. The Ted Lindsay is the MVP voted by the players.
That was his 5th 100-point season. He's beginning his 10th season with the Penguins, believe it or not. Time marches on. Here's Oscar Sundqvist, sends it up the wall, and Carcillo tried to drop it back to Dupre. Penguins getting their signals crossed a bit there. And turning with it now is Nestrasil. Comes to Mitch Callahan, and he couldn't do much with it in the slot. It was on his backhand, and the Penguins, again, used the term dodging a bullet. And another example there where it looked like the Red Wings had something going, but they just couldn't pull the trigger on any shots. And the Penguins just able to work it back into the Detroit zone. And this is Nick Jensen going back forward. He played at St. Cloud State. Comes to center, banks it off the boards into the Penguin zone. Glendening centered one. It goes past everybody and back out to neutral ice.
Oh, Jensen, he can really skate out there. He looks pretty confident with that puck, that right-handed shooter.
8 shots for the Red Wings, 4 for the Penguins. The Penguins have killed 2 Red Wing power plays. We're down to 8:50 to go in the first period. As Mike Johnston was saying today, there have been a lot of close checking games in this preseason. All the teams have been really careful to try to get their systems in order and play good, responsible hockey. And that's one of the reasons why the Penguins have not been able to score more than 7 goals in the 5 games. But they've also had a good defensive record during that time. Allowed 11 in the 5.
Well, their system, the Red Wings in their own zone, is much like the Penguins are trying to employ right now. Get that center help down low.
Letang looks it over, throws it to the net. Howard knocked it away to the near side. Sent back to the corner by Spalling for Como. Marcel Gottsch is in front of the net. Como knocked down by Danny DeKeyser, who tries to get it out now. And Como ends up with a puck again. He winds it back to the right wing corner. Letang all the way down the boards to play it. Letang behind the net now. Chris Letang shoots it. Well, Howard got knocked down. He was prone on the ice when that puck went through the goal mouth.
Yeah, that was all Como, who knocked DeKeyser right into Howard, and they're jarring right in front of that cage right now. Good battle, that shift between those two, DeKeyser and Como.
Blake Como can't take the puck cleanly there. Kronwall drops it off to Jakob Kindl. In his 8th year with the Red Wings, the Czech Republic, they say that he may be a guy who they can afford to let go at this point because they've got some depth on defense. Some guys, young guys waiting in the wings. Here's Johan Franz into the goal. He sneaked that wrist shot in there, and it looked like he was going to pass it, and all of a sudden he shoots it right into the equipment of Marc-Andre Fleury. Get ready for a full day of college football this Saturday on Root Sports. The day begins with back-to-back wild and wonderful sports. It's Marshall against Old Dominion at noon, followed by West Virginia and Kansas at 4. Then off to Charlottesville at 7:30 for Pitt against Virginia. College football Saturday. It kicks off live at noon on Root Sports.
That's a dangerous line that just went off the ice. Franzen, Zetterberg, Nyquist. They used each other on that last rush up the ice. Boy, that is very potent right there.
Dupre, or make that Harrington confidently carrying that puck to center, and then the Penguins offside again. Bob, when you talk about puck possession as you enter the offensive zone, there's a lot of different ways to get it in there, isn't there?
Chips behind the defenseman. You can carry it in. You can dump it in. You can use your buddy, a little give and go. You want to put it into open areas. That's what Mike Johnson wants. Just get it in behind that defenseman. If you can skate it, yeah. If he stands you up, you got to throw it in that area behind him.
Here's a chance now. Adams, backhand shot, kicked out by Howard. A good save. Now Dupree with a blast. And that hits a man in the slot. And the Red Wings trying to get it out. And Kyle Quincy left it in behind the net for Jakob Kindl. He's got it now. Great chance there for Adams on the backhand.
Nestersil had a great back check there. It looked like that backhand off the pads by Adams was sitting right there for the Penguins to put it in, but good back check by Nestersil.
Stephen Weiss, he only played 26 games last year for the Red Wings. Another guy who was injured, key guy that they had acquired coming over from Florida.
Sports hernia, yeah, he was looks healthy here. They were decimated down the center.
Johan Franzen only played a handful of games. He played 54.
Picked up leg wand during the year.
At the end of the year, yeah, they got him at the trading deadline. Here's Zetterberg. Can't wend his way through the Penguin defense. The Red Wings have to regroup in the neutral zone. 6 minutes to go here in the first period. I wanted to ask you, when you saw Harrington carrying that puck earlier, if the D's going to carry it as a winger, Bob, and a forward, you've got to stay on side while that guy's coming through the neutral zone. And I guess the timing's got to be right for that.
Yeah, it's kind of tough too. You know, you got to find a way to maintain some sort of momentum too, because if you're stopped and the puck goes in, you're standing still. You got your cement boots on. How are you going to get it?
Penguins in their own zone. Downey on the wall. Had a good game the other night in Minnesota. Pascal Dupuis couldn't play at center. Jensen does. He's pushed off the puck by Sutter, but able to turn and backhand it back out the neutral ice, where Chris Letang will take it for Pittsburgh. Now Letang paired up with Paul Martin. Letang patiently looks for an open man, looking for options in that neutral zone. Couldn't get it through, but Downey skates to the puck and drops it right back to Letang. Penguins in motion in the neutral zone. They get Downey free, and he's offside on himself as he enters the Detroit zone. So the Penguins trying to get on track here
and trying to get a goal. There's a shot by Adams, a rebound attempt, and a good back check there. Well, head coach Mike Babcock just going year to year on that contract. Always talk about that here in Detroit. Mike Babcock had the opportunity to coach in the 2010 Winter Olympics, win gold with Team Canada in 2014. There's Sidney Crosby wearing the C, another gold medal. Chris Kunitz scored a big goal in the gold medal game, a big goal. Yep.
Mike Babcock playing out the last year of his contract. As Bob said, he said, well, Scotty Bowman went year to year. I guess I could do the same thing. And I don't think that's what he really wants to do. There are a lot of people speculating that maybe he'd get himself on the open market next summer and somebody will throw a big bundle of money at him. So you never know. Mike Babcock, highly respected, obviously, but there's Fleury freezing the puck in the paint. Babcock loves it here in Detroit, though. He's so calm about his job. I mean, he walks into the media. Fleury freezes it, Bob, and just the way he handles himself with the media, he's like so authoritative, isn't he? He's honest. He just says whatever he wants about his players.
Yeah, I said Yurko. Yeah, he's doing pretty good, but he turns the puck over way too much. we gotta work on that, he says, and we gotta help him with that. I'm watching Harrington play a little defense in front of the net, and look at that hard hit by Scuderi over on the wall. Scuderi hit Datsyuk, Pavel Datsyuk in Pittsburgh, and Datsuk's still out with a grade 1 shoulder separation. Speaking of injuries,
Simon Desprez takes the pass from Rob Scuderi, moves it up the right wing. Downey able to tip it up into the Detroit zone. Sutter gets in after it against Glendening. Dupuis trying to stuff it in on the backhand, and Howard was ready for that. Dupuis over again. Now Glendening is going to carry the puck to center. Scuderi steps up on him with good gap. He slips it in behind Scuderi, so Desprez is able to go over and get body position on Abdelkader. Glendening poked it free to the near corner, where Scuderi one-hands it up the near boards. And then Sutter turns and flicks it out to Kunitz, pressured by Zetterberg. And Desprez gets over, but Zetterberg able to hold on to the puck. Now Desprez able to jam it away from him. Kunitz to Scuderi, back around for Desprez. Desprez again trying to get it out. The Penguins spending a little too much time in their own zone here. They're playing with fire. The Red Wings, Kronwall with it, shoots it. Oh, deflected by Nyquist. Another chance. Franzen shooting, and that one blocked in front.
Oh, the bouncing puck. Stick a pitchfork in it, Staggy, as Dupre tried to battle down low against Zetterberg and company.
Zetterberg takes the puck on the wing and lifts it out to center. Kunis read the play coming back. Drops it off to Letang. Now to Ehrhoff. Out to Sidney Crosby, who directed it towards the right wing, and Hornquist. Now Crosby picks off the attempted shoot-in by Kronwall. Crosby shoving Franzen out of the way as he goes to the bench. And both teams were changing. Ehrhoff able to gain center ice. Christian Ehrhoff to the left wing, and Spalling. Spalling centers, and a chance for Ehrhoff, and the puck deflected away and up into the netting. Coming up in the first intermission, presented by your neighborhood Ford store with Rob and Jay. Dan Potash will speak with Chris Letang. And we'll have highlights and analysis as usual from the studio in Pittsburgh.
Penguins trying to set up a face-off here. You see the guys all get together prior to the dropping of this puck.
Blake Como to the biscuit. To the backhand, the forehand, the save by Howard, and he looks for the puck and freezes it.
And Rob Scuderi's been physical in this preseason. Fewest hits by minute of a Penguin last year. In this game, right into that rounded glass by the players bench, he hit Datsuk, who got hung up on that rounded glass, and he's out for a couple more weeks, they believe, here in Detroit. And he's very physical and standing up on that last shift. Very impressive stuff there. And when you have back checkers, back pressure from your forwards, you're allowed to, as a defenseman, to stand up. You don't have to give ground to that oncoming forward.
Oscar Sundqvist playing tonight, trying to get the puck to the corner, but it's knocked away by Brian Lashaw. Stolen by Sundqvist, and he tried to go to Adams. Now he shoots it, and a good save again by Howard with the left pad as Adams was looking for the rebound. It went right by him. Good shift for Oscar Sundqvist as he got in defensive position to create some offense there. And now it's Jensen down the wing. Get around Paul Martin. Backhands it, side of the net, flurry, and it was jammed at by Mitch Callahan, and he just couldn't get a lot on it. He almost jammed it in inside the post. There was some room there for him. Now Adams takes a bump by Nestrasil on the near boards as Martin plays catch with Harrington on defense. Sutter, Harrington.
A lot of triangle formations.
Yeah, Penguins
D to D, the center's right in the middle of forwards are split. There he goes again. Another triangular formation to set up a couple of passes.
Sutter trying to gain the zone with speed. Penguins have had a tough time entering that Detroit zone in this first period.
And now they have the 1-3-1 set up in the neutral zone. Does Pittsburgh working on their systems?
Dupuis almost sprung Downey. He's going to get in after the puck first. Downey. The way he took that path as he went to the puck, he turned into it. But then he lost it in the corner. Here's Tatar. If you go straight back to the puck, you're putting yourself in some danger.
Yeah, make sure you have a good exit route.
55 seconds remaining in the first period. No score. 12-10 are the shots in favor of Detroit. The Penguins have had a couple of good looks. Howard's made a couple of really good left pad saves there in the period. Now here's Kunitz. Given away though to Nyquist. Head faking as he came into the circle, but he lost the puck. Now it's Zetterberg. Franzen. Nyquist in front. Nyquist shoots it. And Fleury stops him. And the rebound. Hornquist trying to get a hold of it. Nyquist jabbed at it, and it goes below the goal line. Kunitz stripped of the puck by Nyquist. He's been a demon. Here's Crenwell shooting, and a blocker save made by Fleury. And Sidney Crosby to the puck around for Dupre. Now for Scuderi, who's standing still. He hands it off to Dupre. 12 seconds remaining in this first period. Dupre and Scuderi just holding on to the puck here as time ticks away. Maybe one more rush. Kunitz looks ahead on the right wing for Hornquist. It's just out of his reach. 3 seconds to go in the period. And the first period is in the books. The Red Wings with 14 shots, the Penguins with 10.
Yeah, Detroit got the first 8 on the board. It was all Detroit. A couple of power plays early. Fleury shut the door. The Penguins came on, and a couple of good physical battles in that first period as well.
Back to the Berg for Robin J.
Kenny Malkin still has not returned, but Sidney Crosby is back and has a period in. His second is about to start in Detroit, which is where we rejoin Steige and Bob. Guys?
Welcome back to Detroit, as they say across the river in Windsor. And you say that too, Bobby, Detroit. The Penguins are happy to have Sidney Crosby back in the fold. And, you know, I think that even Sidney Crosby likes to have a preseason game under his belt.
Well, he does. You see he's mucking it up there in the first period of play in the morning skate this morning. the coaches finally get a chance to get some one-on-one time with Sidney Crosby on the power play. Rick Tocchet in charge of that. He's talking to Sidney Crosby about what he wants him to do on the half wall. Sidney said, as we talked to him after, Steg, he's going to try not going up all the way to the blue line on that power play, maybe just cut it off halfway up the wall and make some different plays with Hornqvist and Kunitz in front. But Sidney Crosby, yeah, he doesn't have much time to get into game shape here. I think he's ready to go, but the timing, he wants to get some bumps and bruises in, and Penguins have a long time before the opening game, October 9th in Pittsburgh.
Penguins preseason hockey on Root Sports is brought to you by Ram Trucks. And we thank them for helping us bring you preseason hockey this season. We are doing our final game, and then we'll be opening the season for real next Thursday night when the Ducks come calling.
Now there's Sidney Crosby, his first period line, 6 minutes of ice on 8 shifts. He had 2 shots on net, did Crosby, and he was 2-1 in the face-off circle. There were only 17 face-offs in that first period of play, and really the best line out there was the Franzen unit. He had 4 shots. Nyquist had 3 shots.
Franzen playing with Zetterberg and Nyquist. That's a pretty prolific line for Detroit if they can all stay healthy.
Speaking about healthy, we just saw Red Wing great Mickey Redmond, who had back surgery by the same doctor as Zetterberg, and he said he's ready to go.
He looked great. Saw a picture of him in the Red Wing locker room today too, in uniform, playing back in the day. He was a guy who could really shoot the puck, Mickey Redmond. Here's Chris Letang backing up, longtime broadcaster for Detroit. Christian Ehrhoff. There's been a lot of this tonight with Penguins kind of moving the puck backwards, looking for options in that neutral zone to maintain possession of the puck. Not just dumping it up into the offensive zone, but hanging on to it until somebody comes open.
It's a lot of talk of backs. And this man, the coach, Mike Babcock, was asked this morning about Daniel Alfredsson and his chances of getting back into this Red Wing lineup. And Alfredsson this afternoon was on the ice. He's had some setbacks. Every time he skates, everything tightens up back there. He doesn't know if he's going to retire or come back and be a wing for one more year.
Bouncing puck. It's loose. Howard down on his backside. And he got some help from his defense as they're able to get the puck out. Yurko looks left wing for Tatar. The Penguins break it up at the line. Chris Kunitz. Scott Harrington's an interesting study because he's one of those guys, if you don't notice him, then that means he's doing his job. He's just a defensive defenseman. You don't say his name much, but I haven't really focused on what he's doing, but he must be doing pretty good because we haven't really noticed him. And that's the kind of player he is. Now he's back to the puck, moves it along for Sidney Crosby. Number 6 in the Penguin uniform, Scott Harrington. 2nd round pick in 2011. Sidney Crosby to the puck on the near wall, bumped by Jensen. Yurko drops it behind the net, and the Red Wings bring it up. Zetterberg steered it off the boards into the Penguin zone. Letang goes back for it. Franzen's on him. Chris Letang sent it up the wall. Following on to pick it up, Sutter. It just wandered away from him. Zetterberg sends it right back to the Penguin line. Red Wings still have 2 more preseason games to play. They're playing 8. The Penguins are playing 6. And this is the final one. The Penguins will have 4 good practices next week prior to that first game. Here's Sutter with it, and that'll come in handy for Mike Johnston as he tries to install his system, and hopefully Evgeny Malkin can get back on the ice, and everybody will be ready to roll when the Ducks come in.
Wow, you're just looking at the speed of Nyquist as he tried to turn it up on Ehrhoff, who was able to knock the puck off his stick.
Flurry around for Scuderi, pokes it ahead now to Carcillo. Picked up by Adams. Dumps it in and gets in after it. Lashoff back to the puck. Backhanded it to the corner. Oscar Sundqvist goes to work there, but the Red Wings able to bring it out of the defensive zone and went off the stick of Stephen Weiss to Rob Scuderi, who just throws it back out to center. Picked up in the neutral zone by Adams. He's bumped. Good play there by Mitch Callahan to take it away. This is Nestrasil down the left wing. He lost 20 pounds in the offseason, and they're high on him now because he looks like he's in better shape. Here's a shot by Jensen. Gloved nicely by Fleury.
Boy, he was able to see that through traffic. Marc-Andre Fleury. Dupre trying to still carrying on in front of the Penguins net here. One of the defensemen that has really bolstered this Penguin blue line. So many talented players. The depth chart, Staggy, take a look at this.
Yes, a lot of world-class defensemen. Guys like Martin, Ehrhoff, and Letang, you'd have to put them in that world-class category. Same with Olli Maatta for that matter. He did play for Team Finland in the Olympics after all. And then you look down here at the bottom four. I mean, Dumoulin looks like he could play now. Harrington's right there. Pouliot is a very skilled player who's out with shoulder problems, but just so many good quality defensemen. 10 of them, I think, really, if you counted them all. And that's a good problem to have. Here's Dupre. Abdelkader took it away, though. Now Quincy around to the near side for Jensen. Nick Jensen steers it off the end boards for Quincy. Abdelkader. Glendening in after it along with Landon Ferraro for Detroit. Simon Despres able to get it. Turns away from Glendening, but the puck came right onto the stick of Ferraro and he just fanned on his shot. And Despres again behind the cage. 4 minutes into the second period. Neither team able to score so far. Penguins have yet to have a power play opportunity. The Red Wings have had a couple. And Despres banks it off the glass to neutral ice. Picked up by Kunitz. Kunitz, Crosby, and Hornquist coming ahead, but
Crosby offside.
Our 18th season of McDonald's High School football continues this week from Neil C. Brown Stadium. It's Clareton against Jeanette. Don't miss any of it. Two great teams. Single A ball club is kicking off live Friday at 7:30 on Root Sports.
You know, Penguins looked like they had something going there at the far blue line. Kunitz losing control of that puck, and Crosby going offside.
Here's Crosby, left side. Kunitz, his shot. Howard to save. Hustling to the rebound. Hornquist tried to get it to Kunitz off a stick. Kronwall able to work it up to Tatar, who steered it ahead, but out of the reach of Sheahan. And Harrington headman the puck, but it comes right to Tatar. Now Harrington takes it away from him. He gets it right back. Tatar to the goal. Turn it to the forehand. Fleury kicked it out with a right pad. And the Penguins end up with a puck as Kunitz steps back to center. He finds Paul Martin jumping into the attack. Martin down the wing. In front for Crosby, and he just steered it wide. And Martin again in deep on the play. Defensively for the Penguins. Trying to make something happen offensively. And now Martin has it again. Paul Martin centers. And reaching in there to try to get it was Hornquist. Poked away from him. And the Red Wings able to get it back to center ice. Sheahan had it and lost it to Paul Martin, who worked it back inside the Detroit zone. Kronwall.
Good shift there by Crosby. Defensively on Tatar, who used that left leg to protect the puck driving to the cage. And then Crosby with an opportunity at the far net.
Johan Franzen went looping through neutral ice and pick up speed. Now he's got the puck as he came into the offensive zone. He came in with speed after winding it up in the neutral zone.
That's a kick and mule right there.
And the play by Dupuis really wasn't where he wanted it to be. The Red Wings keep the puck in the Penguin zone momentarily. Now it's Ehrhoff ahead for Sutter. Red Wings back up as Sutter is able to gain the zone. Sutter shoots it down low, and Howard the save. The rebound hit a leg and trickled wide. And now Franzen, one of the Red Wings, holding his face. It is Franzen. Took a stick up high, apparently. Ehrhoff with it. Half slapper wide of the goal. Letang over for Downey. Back to Letang. Trying to throw it back to the net. Sutter reached in. Penguins maintain possession. Now Zetterberg clears it as he banked it off the boards to Franzen. He goes to Jakob Kindl. Back to Franzen into the Penguin zone. Drops it off. Zetterberg slapper, and it went wide of the goal and was deflected up apparently into the netting there.
Well, Sidney Crosby in his first exhibition game defensively against Tatar. Got to be strong down low.
Still scoreless here in Detroit, and just when you thought you had seen it all, well, you haven't seen this, most likely. Check out what the folks at Irons Mills Farms Head in New Wilmington, about an hour north of Pittsburgh, have done. You don't see a corn maze designed to honor the Penguins and Mary Lemieux every day, but now you can. In fact, for every ticket purchased for admission with a special coupon, $1 will be donated to the Mary Lemieux Foundation. Staggy, Bobby, where's your farm?
We're still working on that. I don't got much going. You stay?
Not really. I go to those corn mazes sometimes, and they have those pumpkin patches at various farms this time of year. I never see one like that. That's a great one.
That was impressive.
Here is Blake Como coming to center, and he will dump it in. Get in after his own shoot in along with Marcel Gotch. Gotch turning out of the corner with it. And Spaulding going to the net. Instead goes to Scuderi, and his shot stopped by Howard. Rebound. Como there, and they score. Como, I think, the last man to get it. He and Spaulding were right there on the doorstep battling for that puck. And I think Como gets his first goal in a Penguin uniform in the preseason. And the Penguins have a 1-0 lead.
I like the way Scuderi got rid of that puck. It was a dump in. It all came from a dump in. They get the puck off the dump in, back to the point. Scuderi just a little wrist shot. And Como out battles everybody for the puck. That's the battle in the corner. Won by Gotch out to the point. And Spaulding and Como go to that net. Really good stuff there by those three, but all started off a dump in, and you haven't seen many of them by the Penguins in this preseason. That was perfect.
Kind of a makeshift third line for the Penguins, and they come up with a big goal for Pittsburgh. So the Penguins end up with the first goal of the game. Como has worked hard in this preseason. He already has a few assists to his credit. So he's got 4 points now. That gives him the lead in terms of the point scoring in the preseason for Pittsburgh. Oscar Sundqvist over there battling now, along with Danny Carcillo. Sundqvist working the wall. Dupre trying to keep it in. We got a penalty coming up here. Is Carcillo involved?
It's going to be a hold of the stick on the wall. I don't know who was holding whose stick. It's going to be a wing penalty.
Detroit penalty number 8, 2 minutes, holding the stick.
And Penguins up by 1, get a chance here. Take a look at the dump in. Great stuff from the center. You don't want those guys to stop at the blue line. You dump it in. They got speed. You go retrieve it. Watch Gotch. A little elevation pass over sticks, over 2 sticks. A wrist shot by Scuderi. Traffic in front. That goal had all the elements, did it not? Speed through the neutral, the dump, the desire, and a quick shot to the net with traffic, and hunger by Como.
And now the Penguins put the power play to use, and we talked about what Rick Tocchet and Sidney Crosby were discussing this morning. And we'll keep an eye on Crosby and how he works that half wall. The Red Wings control the puck off the draw and dump it all the way down. This is a UPMC Sports Medicine power play for the Penguins.
Crosby hasn't had a lot of chance to work on this breakout, but there you see. A little give and go, yep.
With Letang, and Crosby gains the zone to Ehrhoff. Kunitz back to Ehrhoff, to Letang. Christian Ehrhoff doesn't shoot it. And he finds Crosby. Kunitz is in front of the net. Ehrhoff has some room over there on the right side. Centering pass, shot by Hornqvist, is blocked in front. And Ehrhoff again. Wow.
That's quick passing.
Crosby. Sidney Crosby came up high that time. Tried to backhand it across to Letang, couldn't get it through. See the way he circled out? That's what he likes to do to pick up speed. Hornqvist trying to shove it to the net. That was blocked in front. And the Penguins will have to regroup in the neutral zone.
Sidney Crosby loves having that right-hand shot available in that slot for him.
Kunitz didn't pull the trigger there. He hangs on to it. And Ehrhoff able to keep it in. Letang, with a little urgency, able to find that puck on the wall. Over for Ehrhoff. Now to Crosby. Cross for Letang. Coming in the back door. He centers. It goes all the way through to Sid. Crosby turns away from Kronwall. Backhands it out. Letang fires. Save made by Howard. And he falls backwards. We didn't have the puck, but the whistle blows. Now Letang gets a shove from DeKeyser. Hornqvist steps in. Kunitz grabs DeKeyser from behind.
I think this is what you want, isn't it? If you're the Penguins, you got pucks to the net. You got Hornqvist in the slot area between the hash marks. Crosby's on the wall. Now, he can go to Hornqvist, which he did twice. Once you do that, all the 4 Red Wings on the penalty kill, they collapse on Hornqvist. And guess what's open? The back door. Take a look. They all collapse in the middle of the ice. Who's open? Back door. Letang. And there's the shot. And hits a bunch of bodies in front. And you're going to see those bodies. You're going to see Hornqvist. You're going to see Kunitz, and you're going to see a lot of those two, and the opposing netminders are not going to like it.
Now you got to figure when Gino comes back, then it's going to be either Kunitz or Hornqvist in front of the net, I would think. And it'll be interesting to see what the coaching staff decides on that front, because Kunitz has done that so well over the years, but that's also Hornqvist's bread and butter. So we'll worry about that when Gino comes back. For now, they're both out there. You got two net front presence guys, Kunitz and Hornqvist. Here's Paul Martin near side. The shot by Downey, kicked away. Rebound back to the net, and that was blocked as it came to Dupre. And he got the puck back to the net very quickly there. 14 seconds to go on the Abdelkader penalty, and now it's Sutter with it. Back out to Martin. Dupre, slap shot. Howard the save, and he found that rebound. And again, Red Wings quickly clear the front of the net.
It's Downey, and it's Downey on a redirect. He got Wood on it, and as the puck came into the netminder Howard, Downey spun around, and then the Red Wings tried to clear him out, but he established position early. There's the shot. It's right on target. There's the redirect, and Quincy's late to the party. Take a look at Downey on the one-timer in the offside. Another right-handed shot. So the Penguins are getting a lot of, by having that versatility of rights on the offside and lefts on the offside, you get one time available to you either way, whether it's Downey or Letang on the first power play.
Penguins have a lot more right-handed shooters in their lineup now than they used to have. Tons of them.
No, it's really good because you can just pop out in that slot area like Hornqvist did. There's just so many more opportunity here.
There's another save by Howard on the shot by Paul Martin.
And the penalty is over. Abdelkader just stepping back on the ice.
Day Automotive brings you this day in Penguins history. And actually, it's this day in Hornets history because the Pittsburgh Hornets, who were the farm team of the Detroit Red Wings, lost 5-2 to the Red Wings in Pittsburgh in an exhibition game. And way back in 1964 at the old Civic Arena.
That's pretty good stuff.
Harrington pinching down, trying to keep things alive here. Nyquist against Harrington. They jostle each other. Nyquist turns with the puck. Now Kindle will play it. Dances away from Blake Comeau. And Comeau tripped him up, I think. He's going to get a penalty. There's going to be an interference penalty here. Who's it against? Detroit?
I believe so.
Yeah.
Detroit penalty number 23, 2 minutes interference.
Beautiful, 1-0.
Gary, I know more often than not we will not see your defenseman dump the puck, but considering it was the dump by Rob Scuderi that led to the goal by Blake Comeau, I guess you're okay with that.
Yeah, you know what? It's a puck possession game for us, but once in a while, if they're standing up at the blue line, you want to back them off so that you can get the blue line later on. So we got to let them know that we're not afraid to do that, but certainly if we can back them off and gain the zone of possession, that's what we want to do.
Okay, thank you.
All right, my pleasure.
Guys, it's all yours.
We talked about that the other night when we were in Minnesota.
Back him off. Get him cheating. And the next time, maybe you can carry it in because they're going to be looking for that dump in and they'll be backing off that blue line. And then a guy like Crosby can use that to his advantage.
Penguins have a power play. Lashoff in the box. It is a UPMC Sports Medicine power play, and the save made again by Jimmy Howard.
Yes, and the difference in this power play, Crosby setting up on the left wing wall. So they're going to switch sides. You flip from the right wing to the left wing wall, work this side of the ice, and go to the other side and try to catch somebody in the back door that way with Kunitz in front.
Letang and Ehrhoff work the points. Crosby, Hornqvist, and Kunitz up front for the Penguins with a man advantage. Crosby with Sheahan on him. Hornqvist, Ehrhoff, Letang, and he under wide rebound. Oh, Crosby fanned on it. He had an open net. It went right by his stick.
Yep, bounced right over that blade.
Kunitz. Letang to Kunitz. Out to Ehrhoff. Crosby wants the puck. Sid brings it up. Passes it through to Ehrhoff. Now for Letang, and his return pass for Ehrhoff not there, and Ehrhoff goes back to get it with Abdelkader watching him. Now Abdelkader peels off to the bench. He's replaced on the penalty kill. Penguins continue to work that puck around. Another bouncing puck. Hornquist trying to corral it. Over to the far wall. Ehrhoff, nifty play turning off the boards there to maintain possession, but the Red Wings take it away, and they are able to dump it all the way down. Mitch Callahan shooting it in and then going to the bench, and now Kunitz takes it in his own zone with 47 seconds remaining on this lash-off penalty. Paul Martin. Dupuis can't carry it. Martin will take it again at his own line. Sutter's trying to get around Jensen. Finds Downey. Back for Sutter. Cross now, one-timer to Prey, and it's deflected away from the net to the near side. The Penguins trying to maintain possession here in the offensive zone. 14 seconds. They do a good job of puck retrieval here. Downey working, and now Jensen over, cuts him off. Stepping down was Dupre to pop it free, and then Dupuis on the puck. The Downey behind the net, all the way out now to Paul Martin. 2 seconds ago on the penalty. Dupre doesn't shoot it. Out of the box comes Lashoff. One more shot here for the Penguins. Downey with it into the slot. Dupuis across now, a shot, and the save by Howard on Dupre. He got a good shot away, but not happy with it. He felt like he could have gotten more on it.
He was touched on the way through by the stick of Pascal Dupuis just a little bit, slowing that puck down as it was coming through. Take a look. Penguins a good puck possession and really good winning battles, outnumbering down low. There's Dupuis just touching it a little bit. The shot by Dupre, as you say, you want a little more mustard on it. And there's Brandon Sutter in front of the cage.
That was one thing that really was a big reason why the Penguins had the top-ranked power play in the league last year. The one thing you don't maybe think about as much is the hard work, the ability to retrieve pucks, get them back, and continue in the offensive zone.
Yeah, they really did outwork the penalty killing units, and you don't see that from a lot of power plays. They're just a simple element, really.
Skill plus will, and as a result, the Penguins won a lot of games by virtue of their special teams last season.
Yeah, they really did. There was a chance there at one time that they were going to be tops in both categories, and you can't discount that.
That's never happened. One of the Penguins, it was Sundqvist, was run into by his own teammate there, I think Adams. And the Red Wings on the attack. Now Nyquist shoots it. It's blocked by Harrington. Nyquist looks for the puck again. Stepping in and taking it away, though, is Marcel Gottsch. He hands it right to Jakob Kindl. 6:55 to go in this second period. The Penguins leading 1-0 on a goal by Blake Como.
Shots now 24 for the Penguins.
Sheahan in front. Oh, it's pushed just wide of the net by Tatar. Loose around the net. And the Red Wings can't finish the play. They had a great opportunity there. Sheahan setting up Tatar, going to the goal all by himself. Now the Penguins, Gottsch able to bank it off the glass out to center.
Shots are 14-2 this period for the Penguins. Maybe a third right there for the Wings. That's it.
Fleury pokes it away over to the far side. Gottsch trying to find the puck. Tatar dished it to the corner. Sheahan turns away from Harrington. Protects the puck. One hand on the stick. Good cycling here. Yurko went to the front of the net. Tatar couldn't get him the puck. Red Wings turning it up a notch here in energy-wise. And now Harrington up the boards for Como. Como trying to get a hold of it and get it out if he can. Sheahan held it in, though. Down low for Tomas Tatar. Finds a man off the bench. Glendening shooting it. And it's deflected away and up off the glass. Now Ehrhoff hit from behind by Tatar. Tatar has the puck, turns and shoots it on the short side of Fleury. Made the save, and then the rebound comes right to the stick of Harrington. He's able to find Gottsch, and Gottsch sends it out to center where it's steered in by Spalling. The Penguins need to make a change here. Ehrhoff really got hit hard by Tatar down there under the glass.
Yeah, it seemed to turn into it, though. I think that's why the referees let it go. He looked violent. I'm not so sure it was as violent as it looked.
Hornquist dumps it in, gets in after his own dump in against the Kaiser. And now the Kaiser will take it behind the net with Hornquist applying the pressure. Red Wings having trouble getting out of their own zone all of a sudden. Now Glendening will take it to neutral ice. Up on the wing to Abdelkader, who shoots it behind the net. Fleury will stop it there for Paul Martin. Paul Martin to center. Crosby pulled offside there
by Nyquist, and hope his groin's okay as he sits down on the ice to the dismay of the Detroit crowd. Right in your living room. Ehrhoff. Woo. Now there's Sidney Crosby. You know where he scores his goals, Staggy, where most people do.
Yeah, in the house mostly.
Yeah. You draw a line right across the top of the circle. Look at the blue paint. Look at that crease area. A little more weighted to the off wing where he plays the power play primarily from that right side. But a lot right in the middle, right in front of the net, using your hands, using your feet, and then finally the stick.
And he certainly does use all parts of his body to control that puck. He's as good as anybody we've ever seen at that. Using his feet and his hands. Now it is Letang. He's looking at the big face of the mule, Franzen, and Penguins able to work it up into the Detroit zone. Howard cleared it to the corner right to Downey. Steve Downey to the net, and a glove save made by Howard. With Sutter standing right there. Let's take a look at our barrel leaders. Remember last season? Well, that's the standings in the Eastern Conference last year. The Red Wings slipped in as a wild card team, just right in there with the Blue Jackets, who the Penguins played in the first round, of course. And then the Red Wings, we all wanted them to upset the Bruins. They just couldn't pull it off. And I think Mike Babcock might have done his best coaching job ever last year when you consider they lost 420 man games of injury, and some of the stars who were out of their lineup, and the way they were able to put on that late season charge and get into the playoffs was pretty impressive.
Oh, I know Nyquist. I mean, he was on a tear, wasn't he, at the end of the season?
Yeah, he scored 20 of his 28 goals in the last 34 games of the season. Spalling with a shot that sails high up off the glass. And the Red Wings made the playoffs for the 23rd consecutive year. Como with a one-timer. His stick shatters, and the Penguins able to get to the puck, though. Here's Scuderi. Can't hold it in. Look out. Mitch Callahan hunting the puck. Fleury's going to come out of the net. A little fake with the stick there, but now he's got to get back in the net with Nestrasil shooting it just wide of the goal, and held in now by Weiss, who dumps it behind. Fleury can't play the bouncing puck. Scuderi was hit hard there by Nestrasil. Number 49 of the Red Wings trying to earn himself a job here.
They have 2 more games, do the Red Wings. This is the final preseason game for the Pittsburgh Penguins.
Lead pass. Carcillo just directs it to the right wing, where Adams is able to dump it behind Kronwall, who turned and got it, and then threw it back, and it took a crazy bounce off the boards, but no damage done for the Red Wings. Now they'll set it up from their own zone. By the way, this Joe Louis Arena will be in operation for a couple of more years, and then the Red Wings will have a brand new arena in downtown Detroit. Yurko with it. And the Joe is about half full right now for this preseason game. Tatar with it. Looks for Yurko. Instead goes to the point to Kindle, and his shot just wide of the glove of Fleury off the corner boards and back to center. Kindle has it again for Detroit. To Lashoff. Fleury can't stop it. It took a weird bounce off a partition. Right there is Harrington to coolly move it up the wall. Now Harrington over defending nicely. Crosby steps in to try to get a hold of it, but it's Abdelkader in front. A great save by Fleury. He anticipated that puck coming out in front, and he robbed Landon Ferraro. And now Glendening gets it back to the net, and Fleury able to freeze it there. Boy, Fleury knew that somebody was in front of him, because as soon as that puck came by the net, he was ready to make that save on Ferraro.
Yeah, this can be a tough building to play, and we've already seen bad bounces off partitions, off the kickboard down low. Very springy wall, and there's Marc-Andre Fleury with the left pad, flashing it to make the save, and solid defense. Not a lot of finish in these playoff games. We haven't seen any high-scoring games. Penguins haven't been involved in any.
No, well, it's just Penguins. Mike Johnson talked about it today. The coach saying that, it'd be nice to get Sid and Gino back in, because then we can start to get that, that offensive game going. He said it's really kind of hard to get a feel for how prolific this team could be offensively without your key offensive geniuses in the lineup. And then you get one of them back in Crosby tonight. Penguins haven't been able to score a lot of goals because they just haven't had their weapons.
And Crosby can't get moving here. He just tried to take out Zetterberg. Zetterberg made a play in the neutral zone. Crosby came over and tried to lay a licking on him, but Zetterberg saw it coming.
Kronwall shakes loose and shoots it wide of the net. Zetterberg over to play it now. Ehrhoff watching him. He turns in front, and there was nobody there, although I think he had the right idea. Kronwall skating towards the puck now, wrists it wide of the net. Nyquist tried to move it in front quickly. Zetterberg out here with Franzen and Nyquist, and the Penguins go the other way, and it's Letang carrying the puck. He goes left wing to Kunis, who shoots it down low, and a save made by Howard. And now Crosby having a long conversation with the referee at center ice as he goes back towards the bench.
Well, he's getting a little frustrated. Zetterberg's one of the top defensive centermen in the game. He's right there mirroring Crosby all over the ice. And Crosby, after he made a play, he came over late. Crosby trying to get a hit on Zetterberg, who held him up. Goes way back to the Stanley Cup years. But it is good to see both those players healthy and in this hockey game.
Zetterberg has made a living doing what he's doing tonight against Sidney Crosby. You know,
well, he came
defensive centerman, and he's a great offensive player, but he can also kind of turn himself into a shadow, if you will.
Well, he wanted to make a point to his coach, Mike Babcock. We were leaving the Penguin dressing room, or the Red Wing dressing room this morning, Staggy, if you can recall.
Yeah.
And in came Zetterberg with his cell phone, and he had some video proof of something that he wanted to show Babcock. And Babcock, I think, had an idea about something, and Zetterberg had video proof of something else. So he was bringing that cell phone right into the office.
Couldn't help noticing the picture of Scotty Bowman right by the doorway of Mike Babcock's office. Scotty with the Stanley Cup behind him and holding his ring up. Kind of a portrait, if you will. And now we got a penalty here in neutral ice. And
Como.
it is Yurko dragging himself back up to his skates, and Como going to the box.
2 minutes hooking.
Hooking by Blake Como. His second penalty of the game. He's the only guy who's been able to score in this hockey game.
Yeah, put that Red Wing power play on the ice. Only 32.7 left here in this second period.
Como is from Meadow Lake, Saskatchewan. Population 5,000. Mike Johnston making notes as the puck will be dropped to the right of Fleury. Zetterberg against Adams won the draw. And it is Zetterberg throwing it to the front of the net off a stick. Scuderi trying to flush it out. And it's going to be held in at the point by Kronwall to Zetterberg. Back to Kronwall, a shot. It hits Scuderi, and Franzen pokes at it, and it goes off a leg wide. Zetterberg with it again across from Nyquist. He has to take it off the bounce. Out to Kronwall to Zetterberg. Abdelkader's in front. Nyquist closes in, fires it. A save made by Fleury off his right shoulder. And Gotch able to bank it away and back into the Detroit zone.
Yeah, big save there by Marc-Andre, and a couple of big saves by Rob Scuderi as well, who was on the ice when the Penguins won the Cup.
They almost got a goal right before the horn here. The period comes to an end with the Penguins leading by a score of 1-0. And let's go to Robin Jay in Pittsburgh.
Crosby returns. Marc-Andre Fleury has been sharp, and the Pens are up 1-0. If you're just joining us, here is what you missed.
Here's a chance for Tatar. He fakes it, and he tried to tuck it in. Couldn't do so. Fleury diving back. Red Wings still have it. Jensen with a drive and a save made by now Zetterberg. Franzen. Nyquist in front. Nyquist shoots it. And Fleury stops him. And the rebound. Hornquist trying to get a hold of it. Gotch turning out of the corner with it. And Spaulding going to the net. Instead goes to Scuderi, and a shot stopped by Howard. Rebound. Como there, and they score. Como, I think, the last man to get it. He and Spaulding were right there on the doorstep battling for that puck. And I think Como gets his first goal in a Penguin uniform. That is the only goal of the game, and Fleury has stopped all 18 shots, Bob Airy. He's looked good.
Yeah, he's looked sharp in this hockey game. Early, couple of penalty kills for the Penguins. He was fantastic. He was second in that save percentage stat where they give to goaltenders when they're killing penalties last year in the National Hockey League. And Marc-Andre Fleury, you know, I think he's been compact. You haven't seen him play shots outside the goalpost. Minimal motion and very solid.
Penguins preseason hockey on Root Sports is brought to you by Ram Trucks. And the Penguins with the lead, but they have some work to do here because the man who does have the only goal of the game, Blake Como, is in the penalty box for another minute 27. The Red Wings with the power play. Kronwall will set it up from his own zone ahead to Johan Franzen. Now to Nyquist to the right side and Zetterberg, and offside are the Red Wings.
Not sure who was the guilty man offside there, but the Penguins threw a wrench in the breakout. Look at Nyquist, 14. Just, maybe just.
Red Wings are 0 for 6 on the power play so far, and here's Zetterberg carrying to center. Looks right wing for Franzen. Gets around Ehrhoff. Comes to the goal. Fleury makes the save on him, and it goes in behind the net. I think he must have gotten a piece of it as he went by. Franzen left Ehrhoff in the dust on that one.
Yeah, well, the Penguins were standing still, flat-footed at that blue line. A good head of steam by the Mule.
Now it's Sutter getting the puck, and an errant pass, and he will take off. He's got some room up the left wing. With 38 seconds to go in the penalty, he dumps it in and goes to the bench.
It's the second time we've seen Franzen come in hard off that off wing, and that one there, he may have just chipped it over that glove. Tough to tell from here if Fleury got a piece of it or not.
Kronwall tried to return the puck to Thomas Tatar. He's got a retreat now with Adams forcing him back. And now De Kaiser moves it ahead. A little one-touch pass from Jensen to Tatar. Into the Penguin zone, he finds Sheahan. Riley Sheahan for Tatar. Out to the point to Jensen. Now to De Kaiser. 6 seconds to go on the penalty. Popping out is Jurko, and the Penguins take it away from him. Good work there. As Jurko came out, as he turned, the Penguins strip him of the puck, and they're able to get it all the way down the ice and kill the remainder of the penalty. Como goes to the bench, and De Kaiser steams right up the middle of the ice with a puck to the right wing for Tatar. Shot off the side of the net there by Jurko, rather, and now the Penguins counter, and Hornquist hands it off to Kunitz. Kunitz springs Crosby to the goal, and his backhander just caught a piece of Jimmy Howard's shoulder and went up over the net.
Oh boy, that puck was labeled. That was a good save there by Howard. You didn't know if Crosby was going to release it on the backhand or turn it to the forehand, as he came streaming in the off wing. A good feed by Kunitz. Great speed through that neutral zone. A little dish pass by Kunitz to Crosby. And a big save by the glove of Howard. On the other end of the ice, there's a little chip.
Yeah, he just missed the net, didn't he?
He may have just missed the net on the glove side of Fleury. Tough to tell. And a face-off setup. Sutter talking to Downey, directing traffic here and trying to get the win.
Glendening won the faceoff. Jurko dumps it in. Fleury sets it up and then decides to move it up the right side, where Downey is bumped by Kyle Quincy. Red Wings able to win the battle on the wall. The Tang backhanded it around. Ashoff held it in. Centering pass. A good shot by Ferraro is stopped by Fleury. And really sharp. There's another shot. This one sailing wide of the net by Abdelkader. And Abdelkader goes to the puck on the far corner. Chopping at him was Ehrhoff. Abdelkader, though, turns out with possession of the puck. Over to Lashoff, and he gunned it wide of the goal. Held in again by Quincy. Ferraro trying to get a hold of it. So is Dupuis, and Dupuis is able to use the glass to get the puck back to center. But the Red Wings want to go the other way quickly. They're not going to be able to do so. High stick on the puck. Get to know head coach Mike Johnston on a special edition of Inside Penguins Hockey. Join us as we sit down with the career coach to learn more about his background, his philosophies, and what he has in store for the Penguins this year in his first year as a head coach in the NHL. Inside Penguins Hockey. Sit down with Mike Johnston debuts tonight after Penguins postgame on Root Sports.
His first opportunity to coach with the captain on the ice, Crosby. You know he wants Malkin out there as soon as he's available.
Red Wings trying to get into the Penguin zone. Can't do it. Spalling drops it back to Paul Martin. Harrington ahead now to Como. Bounces it towards the net. Howard pushes it aside for Jensen. Up the wing. And here come the Red Wings. And down the right side comes Mitch Callahan. His shot was blocked. Around to the near side where Weiss keeps it in. Behind the net for Callahan. Nestrasil goes to the front of the net as Kronwall just pushes it that way. Crosby read the play, and then he tried to headman the puck to Downey, and it goes the length of the ice. It'll be an icing call against Pittsburgh.
Well, final preseason game for the Penguins. A lot of players on the bubble looking for those final roster spots. Oscar Sundqvist in this hockey game. Zach Sill thought he might have going to play. There's Kasperi Kapanen, the #1 pick. Farnham, Carcillo, some opportunities for these guys to grab jobs, and who knows, Steggy, they're going to be getting away and do some team bonding over the next couple of days, and then a few days before the first game, the drop of that puck, October 9th.
And the puck leaves the playing surface.
Off the glass. No penalty there. No conversation between defenseman and netminder. A couple of Frenchmen there, Dupre and Marc-Andre Fleury, along with Rob Scuderi. Scuderi's had a solid game. He's had a solid camp. Stood up well. And you say a guy like Scuderi, his job is to clear the front of the nets, to get pucks up to his wingers, and that's his job. He's the guy that you're really not going to see going end to end. Well, looks like the linesman is cut here on the side of the ear, being attended to at the Penguins bench.
By the way, we're talking about Mike Johnston and the team bonding. The Penguins have hired a company called Matashak Group to train and motivate personnel through a series of games and activities. Look at the
Steve Barton
being done on Steve Barton, and there's Mike Johnston. So it's a different kind of bonding. You know, the Penguins had gone to West Point a couple of times. This is a different approach. And MGI is based out of Edmonton, Alberta. Has worked with several NHL teams, including the Flames, Flyers, Kings, Rangers, and Canucks. Trying to get a feel for the core group, as Mike Johnston put it, and learn about the leadership qualities of his players.
Yeah, we did our bonding last night at dinner. Oh, group dinner. A good time.
Now it's Simon Desprez starting out of his own zone for the Penguins. And Desprez will dump it in, and Jensen will go back to play it. Looks around, and the Penguins end up stealing the puck as Downey got it on the forecheck. But now Riley Sheahan able to send it up the wall. Dupuis back checking, able to keep it in again. Comes to the right wing corner, and Letang races over. Downey on the wall kept it in, but his shot hit a shin pad and goes right back to center ice.
1-0. And this is what we've seen so far in these 5.5 preseason games from the Penguins. Tight checking games, not a lot of goal scoring.
It's good positional play by both teams. It's playing their systems. Obviously not a lot of emotion in the games. Preseason hockey, guys trying to just, for the most part, get their in shape as a centering pass is steered wide of the net there by Mitch Callahan and avoid being hurt. I mean, obviously you want to survive and be ready for that first game when the emotions will be running pretty high next Thursday night when the Ducks come in. Jimmy Howard sends it around for Jakob Kindl, who just swept it right back out to center ice, and Harrington, who's had a good game tonight. Scott Harrington trying to earn a job. Sundqvist shot hit Lashaw. Spaulding fires it back to the net. Rebound, score! Sundqvist buries it on the rebound with a quick stick in the slot. And Sundqvist has his second goal of the preseason. Spaulding and Adams assisting on the goal by Sundqvist, who's from northern Sweden. Played for Skellefteå in the last 2 years. That team in the Swedish league won the championship. He was a big part of that.
Yeah, his team's 6-1 right now.
Yes, they're already off to a good start again without him.
So, you know, opportunity knocks, and he was there. You just never know what the Penguins are looking for. 6'3" frame, and he really has open eyes.
And he won't be able to go to Wilkes-Barre because they'd have to somehow figure out a way to get him out of his contract at Skellefteå. They're not going to bother to do that if he's going to play in the American League. But if he ends up staying here, that's a different story.
It's a guy that's taken advantage of that injury to Bennett here, and
penalty here.
And a penalty. Yes, there goes Nyquist, who pulled down Marcel Gottsch. And Nyquist will go to the box.
2 minutes holding.
UPMC Sports Medicine power play coming up as Nyquist had hold of Marcel Gottsch. So the Penguins with a chance to add to their lead. Spaulding has assisted on both goals tonight.
Solid hockey player, Spaulding. 32 points in Nashville last year, coming over in the James Neal trade.
Crosby to Ehrhoff to Letang, and he shoots it. He took a little off it, and it was blocked. It hit Glendening, who's hobbled a bit by having blocked that shot by Letang. And now over to the near side, taken by Kunitz. Nyquist, Hornquist in the corner.
Sure it wasn't Sundqvist?
Here's Ehrhoff firing, and he missed a goal. And he was kind of not in a position there to really address the puck the way he wanted to, and he kind of pushed it wide. Now Ehrhoff again. Kunitz. Letang to Ehrhoff. Crosby working a little further down now on that half wall, the way Rick Tocchet had talked about. The shot just misses on the short side. Letang, his pass for Ehrhoff forces him to retreat to center, and the Penguins will have to regroup. Hornquist got onside. Kunitz to Crosby. Sidney Crosby shot up between the legs of the defender Glashoff, and the rebound came in front. Landon Ferraro takes off, but Ehrhoff wouldn't let him go away with it. And Kunitz has the puck now with 50 seconds remaining on the Nyquist penalty. Crosby ends up with the puck. Sid looks back. Looks for an open man. Stick handling beautifully. Hornquist goes to the front of the net. And a centering pass here to wide by Letang, who got to the puck. Got it to Ehrhoff. Now for Kunitz. He's going to go back, and he sees the puck cleared by Landon Ferraro the length of the ice. So with 25 seconds remaining on the penalty, the Penguins with perhaps one more rush to the man advantage here.
Oh boy, Crosby was slick around the blue line, almost chipped that puck by a defender and went the other way. It was that close.
Paul Martin carries in on the power play to Sutter, and his shot off the stick of Kyle Quincy. Dupre hustled over, but the bouncing puck made it difficult for him to keep it in the zone. So it's handled now by Brandon Sutter with 3 seconds remaining on the penalty. Out of the box comes Nyquist. Dupre a little deke on Johan Franzen. Gets himself free down the wing. Simon Dupre centers. Dupuis is there, but Zetterberg calmly just clears it to the corner where Johan Franzen can't get it out. Downey pushed by Franzen. Sutter to the puck. Able to lift it down below the goal line. Getting on it first is Dupuis to kick it free, but it comes right to the stick of Franzen. Now he'll give ground, find Jakob Kindl. He leaves it for Zetterberg. You see how those centermen come down low for the Red Wings to help out. Zetterberg taking that pass right in front of his own net.
I'm interested to see if the Penguins are going to sit back in that 1-3-1, or they're going to stay to the aggressive offense that they want to have, and the defenseman pushing it.
Spaulding with a drive, and Howard on his angle able to make the save.
Well, sometimes you said how good he was with stick, skates. Crosby standing still. We tried to tip that right by the defenseman. Didn't quite happen as Quincy was able to track it down. But look at this puck possession by Sidney Crosby all around the ice. Looks pretty good to me. I mean, things haven't clicked perfectly for the Crosby unit in this hockey game, but looks pretty sharp. And he's getting his nose dirty a little bit as well. That's good to see.
Stephen Weiss with a puck with 10:36 remaining in the third period, and the Penguins leading 2-0. Nestrasil dumps it in. Mitch Callahan couldn't get it deep. Penguins force it back to center. Nestrasil drops it off. Quincy, or Lashoff rather, trying to headman the puck, and now Jensen will have to go back in his own zone. Sundqvist on the ice. Nestrasil can't take the pass cleanly on the wall, and the Penguins dump it right back to the goal. Howard sees Sundqvist coming, hands it off to Jensen. And out the Red Wings come. Nestrasil at center. Drop pass, not in good position there. Sundqvist hustles to the puck, protects it, and then dumps it into the Red Wing zone on the way to the bench. Como in on the forecheck, as is Spaulding. Spaulding forcing Jensen to move the puck quickly, and now Gotch over to play it to Ehrhoff, a drive, and Howard made the save. And Spaulding right there in front of the net.
All the result of a good forecheck. One forward on a D, the other forward on the D, turnover. Well, my question, I think, has been answered. The Penguins are up 2-0. They're not sitting back. They're getting on the forecheck. Blake Como in the middle of the screen. As Howard plays the puck to his defenseman, bang on the defenseman. Here comes Spaulding. Boom. Comes back around. There goes Como. Wow. And there's the turnover. Leads to a great chance with traffic out in front of the net. And the Penguins are not sitting back. They are being aggressive in that offensive forecheck.
And they win the faceoff here. It was won by Gotch. And Como dancing, shooting, and the save by Howard. And Kindl the rebound over to Sheehan. And Gotch again steals the puck. He's upended over there, no penalty. Spaulding reaching in. Kindle moves it along and out to Yurko. Yurko into the middle now for Tatar. He'll chase it to the near wall with Martin going back there too. Sheahan follows on to get it. Riley Sheahan played at Notre Dame with Brian Rust, the Penguins prospect who's in Wilkes-Barre. He's had really good things to say about Brian Rust today. Thinks he's going to definitely play in the NHL. He was very complimentary of his skill. And Rust is also a guy who plays hard. We know that. So that's good news. You hear that from a guy who played with him at Notre Dame, who's in the NHL himself, Riley Sheahan. Here's a shot by Tatar, stopped by Fleury, fought it off. Rebound comes to Sidney Crosby, 8:52 to go in the third. Paul Martin gliding ahead. Uses the glass to work it inside the Detroit zone. Kronwall goes back for it. It's going to be an icing call.
Kronwall wins that race to the dot against Crosby. So big face-off to the right of Marc-Andre Fleury.
Paul Martin played only 39 games last year. With that broken leg and another injury too at the Olympics, if you remember. So let's hope he can put a full season together and continue to be one of the main guys on that blue line for the Penguins. A shutdown defenseman. Now here's Kunitz sending it off the glass and back up into the Detroit zone. Kronwall gets it. Out now to Abdelkader. Into the Penguins end, his shot off the stick of Dupre and up off the glass. Glendening was jostled for a moment by Dupre, but continues to control the puck. Now Landon Ferraro gets body position on Scuderi. Crosby working deep in his own zone. Got it free for Dupre, and now to Hornquist. Kronwall right on him. Hornquist got it to the line, and it found its way back to center ice, and now Glendening goes back for it for Detroit. To Jakob Kindl. Gustav Nyquist looking for an opening as he carries into the zone. Nyquist hopping around Dupre, moves it to the far wall, back in front. And Franzen right there with Scuderi here trying to hold him off, just steered it wide. Nyquist again to Franzen at the side of the net. Franzen sends it to the point, and Jensen now with a high slot to Zetterberg, who's dropped by Downey. Fans, I think, wanted a penalty, but Downey just leveled him there. Now Jensen moves up and shoots it from a sharp angle. Fleury the save, rebound. Oh boy, Franzen had a little bit empty net there, but Dupuis hustled over to make sure he didn't get the puck. And now it's Jensen again. He's all over the ice. Back to Quincy, a shot stop, rebound. Good work by Dupre to hold Gustav Nyquist away from the puck. He took the man, not the puck.
Lifted the stick, and what was Nyquist going to do at that point? The Penguins have really collapsed on the net.
Here's Franzen, and he just couldn't pull the trigger, almost did. Zetterberg tries to center. Down on the ice once Scuderi to block that centering pass. Penguins up 2-0. 6:53 to go in the third period. The Red Wings trying to make something happen here. Zetterberg again, their top line on the ice. Sutter turned it, and Quincy couldn't hold it in.
Oh boy, and Scuderi gets off the ice, drags himself off. That was an exhausting shift.
Another way, that play that we saw Dupre make in front of the net, that's what they're coaching the players to do now in front of the net. They want them to take the man, not the puck, when the puck becomes available in front of the net. And it's not necessarily what they did in the under the previous regime. And Dupre did his job.
Did a good job. Can't kick the puck in still in the National Hockey League.
Here's Jakob Kindl carrying now to his own line. Moves it across. Up the left wing to Yurko. Steers it to the side of the net. Fleury dishes it off to Martin. Brings it back up the short side. Skating to the puck at center is Adams, following on Carcillo. And we have an offside play at the Red Wing line.
Take a look here. This is what you're talking about, Simon Dupre. Getting body position, lifting the stick. You don't want to be fishing for pucks in front. Got that stick right up. Now there's Sidney Crosby fighting this battle all night with Zetterberg, who's been shadowing him. Driving to the net, stopped by Howard. Good foot speed as he gets back on Tatar defensively, and then trying to chip the puck by Quincy on the blue line there. So yeah, he looks pretty good on the ice to me. And he's got some boos in his ears as well, which has got, sets the tone for him.
Every time he's touched the puck, you've heard of the boo birds here in Detroit. Kunitz pulls the trigger, blocked. Crosby tries to get it away from Jensen. Up the wall it comes. Kunis battling again. Who's going to get it? The Penguins do as Hornquist hustled to the puck for Crosby to the slot. Hornquist's shot was blocked by Jensen, who had tight gap on him, and he couldn't shoot it by him. And now the bouncing puck into the Penguin zone, and Martin goes back on an icing call against Detroit.
Jensen's a good-looking young defenseman out there on the blue line. Kind of reminds you like Rafalski a little bit here in Detroit. The way he plays the game, good skates, good wheels. He can move the puck. Looking pretty slick out there. Maybe a little bit bigger than Brian Rafalski, but a guy that can match up against a guy like Sidney Crosby. Good skater.
5th round pick of the Red Wings.
It doesn't matter what round the Red Wings players are drafted in, Steggy. It doesn't matter. They get him from everywhere. Datsuk, Zetterberg, Nyquist, 4th round. 6th round, 7th round.
Here's Zetterberg carrying ahead to Nyquist. And they make them pay their dues in Grand Rapids, too. As the puck leaves the playing surface, there'll be a face-off in the Penguin zone.
Here's Nyquist.
There's no easy pass to the big club here in Detroit. But last year, because of all those injuries, a lot of guys did get an opportunity to play. And
that guy got a chance to play because of injury, didn't he?
Sutter, yeah, and he's been really good in this camp. As you know, he put more of an offensive role. He's basically the Penguins' #1 center for most of the games.
No, he's been good in the face-off circle. Didn't win this one, but he's growing by leaps and bounds.
Downey pushed the puck into the Detroit zone. We're down to 4:49 to go in this hockey game. Kindle carries and hands it off to Nyquist. Now for Zetterberg. Back in the early 90s, late 80s, the Penguins and NHL teams would play neutral site games in the preseason. Sometimes during the season, too. Here's Downey way up ice looking for a lead pass, and it goes behind him. And just looking at the crowds at some of these preseason games, I mean, it makes you wonder if maybe that wouldn't be something that teams would want to try again. Maybe have a game every now and then in the neutral site so that people who don't normally get a chance to see NHL hockey would come and watch. Now we get a penalty here.
Tatar in a little trouble getting up. I don't know if he's a little disoriented right now. He tried to get up and didn't. Went back down. He was shoved from behind into the wall.
Penalty number 17, 2 minutes, cross check.
So a 2-minute cross check by Como and Tatar, who maybe doesn't quite have all his faculties here, and he's going to be helped off, and you won't see him again in this hockey game, it doesn't appear. Now Tatar broke his rib last year, a cross check on March 11th by Blake Como, who then played for, oh boy, he ran right into the linesman. The linesman went to try to get up on the board. He ran right into his knees. Take a look here. Ooh. Knee right to the head. The linesman's knee right to the head of Tatar. And Tatar tried to get up, and he went right back down. And he toppled right over. Blake Como broke his rib, Staggy, with a cross check March 11th last year. And he missed 2 weeks to Tatar.
And he just hit him again, and now he has to leave the ice. And the Penguins are shorthanded. That's the 3rd penalty of the night for Blake Como, who's also one of the goal scorers.
And it was a cross check again.
Yeah, it was. Jensen carries the puck to DeKaiser, who steers it into the Penguin zone. And the Red Wings, if they can get on the board here, they could make some noise here down the stretch. Maybe get some momentum. And the Penguins hoping to prevent that from happening as Letang uses those legs to get that puck out of the defensive zone and all the way down the ice.
We talked about injuries, Staggy, and these exhibition games. Datsuk injured by a Scuderi hit. Now Tatar by Como's cross check here.
Zetterberg brings it up. Now wrists it towards the net. Goes behind the cage and around for Jensen. Out to the point. DeKaiser can't keep it in, and he'll have to go back and get it. Howard comes way out of the net to play it.
The ice not too good. That just jumped right over the stick of DeKaiser there.
Johan Franzen gets around Scuderi. Adams confronted him. He protected the puck to Kronwall. Now to Zetterberg. To Kronwall. Shot off the skate of Scuderi and wide of the goal. And taken now by Adams, and he's able to dump it back into the Detroit zone. Well, Craig Adams, when he enters the season, will have played in 288 consecutive hockey games. He's missed only a pair of games the last few years. He's, I still think, going to be a valuable member of that penalty killing unit for the Penguins.
Look who's killing right now.
Nyquist with it now. Nyquist holds it, shoots it right over the head of Fleury. 4 seconds to go on the penalty. Another chance in front, fired wide. And that was a good chance for Zetterberg. But now it's Kunitz coming back with Crosby. 2-on-1 against Kronwall. Crosby closes in, shoots it up high. Save made by Howard. And Como out of the box, hustles to the puck. And the Red Wings take it the other way, and it's Nyquist coming to center. And the bouncing puck, Fleury stayed with it.
Wow. Good play there, and that's why Crosby and Kunitz kill penalties now. With Mike Johnston at the end, when players are tired, they get the 2-on-1. Crosby takes it to the cage as Kronwall plays it. The 2-on-1 doesn't allow the backdoor pass, and Howard's able to stand up in that situation. And Howard to the bench for the extra attacker with 1:53 left.
Nestrasil comes on. Mitch Callahan out here. DeKeyser has the puck off the draw, shoots it and it's blocked. Nestrasil goes to get it. Now Shane on the ice. Callahan's in front of the goal. Jensen fans on the shot. I thought he might have broken his stick, but he hangs on to it. And Dupuis able to get to it on the near side, but it's going to be an offside play right at the Penguin line. And with 1:39 to go in this game, the Red Wings need 2, not 1, and they've got the extra attacker on the ice.
Sometimes the players' gloves are pretty sweaty at the end of the game, and Jensen, when he tried to take that slap shot, stick just came right out of his lower hand. And that's why players will sometimes use that Gordie Howe tape, Staggy. It's sticky on both sides, and they'll rub it on the shaft of their stick so that it's tacky and your glove won't come off. And a lot of players run down that runway and use 2 sets of gloves in a period. Here goes Fleury looking for the cage.
No, DeKeyser shoots it back to the net. And it's going to come to Gotch, who banks it off the boards. Fleury shot it right up the middle of the ice.
Now he's cleaning the snow off his stick. He's blaming it on the putter. Come on.
Lead pass right to the goal goes Yurko. Fleury came with a paddle and kept the puck out. Now it squirts free. Callahan sends it back down below the goal line. Yurko is there. So is Harrington for Pittsburgh, trying to make that tough play on the wall to get the puck out. Gotch reaches around Callahan. Nestrasil finds DeKeyser. And they'll set it up from the half wall on the far side. Nestrasil, DeKeyser fakes the shot. He got Spalling to go down, and somehow Spalling still got a stick in there to block his shot. And the Penguins make a complete change. Everybody pouring over the bench.
Great save by Fleury, was it not?
Oh, yeah, he got that paddle out there. He beat him to the punch. Now Hornquist shoots for the empty net. He just missed. Crosby's got the empty net. He fires, and that was blocked by DeKeyser. 28 seconds ago. The Penguins up 2-0. Look out. Nyquist ran into his teammate DeKeyser. Now he's going to hand it off. Kronwall drops it off. Zetterberg ahead for Nyquist. A shot. That is blocked. 14 seconds to go. Kunitz lifts the puck towards the empty net. No icing on the play. Franzen goes back. Crosby watches Franzen play the puck. Only 3 seconds left. Marc-Andre Fleury will stop every shot he faced here tonight by the Detroit Red Wings. All 25 of them. And the Pittsburgh Penguins with a nice way to close out the preseason schedule. They'll even their record in the 6 games to 3-3. Marc-Andre Fleury is our McDonald's player of the game.
He might have saved his best for the last. And you get new coaches in here, a new general manager, and a guy like Marc-Andre Fleury. Always proving yourself. You have to always keep proving yourself in this game.
We're going to go not just to Rob and Jay, but also to Rob, Jay, and Mike Rupp.